Good evening and welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Duckling Bootcamp 2026 Duck to the Future. This is our session 102 Fighter Week. This is the third session, so if you haven't seen the first two, you can check them out. The wiki for Final Fantasy Randomizer will let you know how to do that. But today we're going to teach you about fighters. I'm Rax, one of your Duckling Dons running this program, and tonight we are joined by Franklin RN. Franklin, how you doing?
It's a great evening.
It is a great evening, and it's a great seed that we're going to get to do here. This is the Fighter Week. Do you have any opening thoughts before we jump into looking at the flag set?
I mean, Fighter, for those of you who played the vanilla game, is the core part of your party. He's chunky, you put him at the front, he's got lots of HP, he's the only one that can equip basically everything. Most of the stuff that can only be equipped by one character, it's for the fighter.
Yeah, there's so much gear that the fighter can use. All right. We're going to go through the flags fairly quickly. That's this window here. Just in case you haven't seen it before, this is the website that we use to actually look at and create our individual seeds. And a lot of things are going to look similar, but there's a couple new ones here in the goal section. One of those is this alternate final boss, which I actually forgot about until seeing it just now. This is double dragons. So instead of chaos, we'll be facing Carry 2 and Tia 2. What does that change?
So, of course, you're not going to be fighting 2000 HP Chaos. Instead, you'll be fighting like 2000 HP Fiends, and they'll have the same scripts as Carry 2 and Tia 2. So you can think ahead on that. It's multiple targets, which means that sweeper spells will hit both and do more damage. But the biggest thing is actually about Chaos. Chaos is unique because it's not typed. There isn't any weapon that does extra damage against him specifically because of his type. But because we're replacing him with these other fiends, they will have a type, and we can utilize that to deal extra damage.
That's true. That elemental damage can be a huge deal. The other thing that we have here that we haven't seen before is Mid Topher. Mid Topher is a lot of people's favorite Topher, although not everybody's. In Mid Topher, you do have to do some Temple of Fiends, and you do have to go through and do the Fiend refights, but the 3 levels before you get into the Fiend floors have been condensed down to 1, and the floors are a little shorter. Is Mid Topher your favorite Topher, Franklin, or do you have a different one?
It is my favorite Topher. Sometimes I can't choose if short Topher or long Topher is my least favorite. I think right now short Topher is above because of some new features that got added to it. But yeah, mid Topher is by far my favorite. And I'll be showing all of you tonight the correct routing through it, hopefully.
It is a little different, so that'll be good. All right. Difficulty scaling, I believe, is the same as we've seen before. Although it's a little lower experience scaling per item, it is still experience scalings per item. So the more incentivized items we get, the better. And this is our map of what is incentivized. No Masamune today. The Excal is going to be the weapon of choice for the fighter.
Best weapon in the game, arguably.
When your final boss is weak to elemental damage, I would agree.
Yeah, if you're going with a fighter, then it's definitely the strongest thing that the fighter can swing.
And we still have vanilla for all of our incentive locations. Nothing in Sky. So we do have the Volcano incentive, but not Sky. No Titan's Trove, no Cardias, and no Marsh Locked. This is pretty standard. You have to do most of the dungeons.
And you won't have to remind me to check the hint givers, most likely, because I already do that typically.
It's an important thing to do when it's on, I think. Our overworld, very standard as well. I think in one of these we had extended open on. This one we only have early open. Just as a reminder, that means that you can walk from Canary to Dwarf Cave, and you can go from the Ice Cave River system to the Volcano River system. I did a run of vanilla somewhat recently and forgot that those things weren't there because we always have early open on. I think there's nothing new in here. We do get to experience again the joy of the Lefane shortcut.
Yeah, the Lefane shortcut is the favorite thing that I've made for the randomizer. It is excellent.
I'm very appreciative of it. Thank you. Like we said, no masa, free bridge, no special
Free bridge
stuff
is pretty
here.
typical.
Yeah, I think we've seen all of.
Most people think that's boring to have it incentivized.
It really depends on the rest of the seed, but I think in the beginner flag set, which is what we based these first few on, you're just going to get it from the king or princess basically, so it's less exciting. In other ones, it can be more interesting. Nothing special here. Life 2 in battle.
Magic is the same as before.
Yep. And this, I believe, is all things that we've seen before as well. We will have shuffled trap tiles.
Yeah. And all of the encounters are made runnable. We aren't a thief, so we aren't going to be running from as many of them. We'll be taking a few more of them on. And we'll be gauging how to decide whether you run or fight.
That's going to be important. Worth noting, vanilla Warmech. So some chance we'll just randomly run into Warmech. That'll be fun. You can have any first character you want as long as it's fighter, and then you can have anything else you want as long as it's not thief or black belt. You wouldn't normally see this in a tournament setting, but this is just to really help make sure that you get to try each of these different melee carries in an environment that's suited to them, and this is the fighter one.
Yeah, maybe we'll take 2 fighters, or if we really want to go with the meme strategies, we can do 4 fighters.
It depends on what the blessings are. There are things that would make me think about it. Nothing special here. We do have 2 bonuses and no malices, and we could have innate magic. So could
the
be
red
some
mage
interesting
has
spells.
moderate hit percent.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so that's means it can be like chip melee damage. Maybe if the fighter is stunned or something, the red mage can have the second best sword.
Yeah, in general, that's probably not going to be your plan A, but it is a thing you can do. I am seeing
It's come in handy a few times.
I'm seeing a couple people say that the audio is a bit low, and also someone say that it's okay. I'm going to turn it up a little bit here. I don't want to turn it up too much because I don't want to blow it out if some people are okay, but hopefully this will improve it for the folks who are having a little trouble.
Got some good equipment ranges.
Good equipment ranges, -3 to +5, pretty standard, and this this damage bonus of 50, bit. Yeah, that's going to be nice.
It's maxed out. Now this makes all of the elemental weapons do more damage, but there's one in particular that benefits from it a lot, and it's that Excalibur that the knight can swing after promotion, because it does elemental damage to everything except chaos, and there is no chaos in this one, which means it's just everything.
Yep, and then I believe we've seen all of these before.
Yeah, nothing different here. No airboat yet.
Oh, soon the airboat will come. Okay, let me turn off this window. get the game audio. That doesn't do it. That should do it. Game audio is going to be quiet intentionally, but we do like to have it there in the background. And let's see. I guess let's take a look at our blur sinks.
Just a moment.
As a reminder, we didn't do this so that we could show this off here, but you can check the blur sings. Oh, that's a little lower than I expected.
All right. Our fighter. Oh, this is a extra chunky fighter. We got plus 20 vitality and plus 20 HP to start out with. So that initial HP will make it just a little bit better of a health sink at the beginning, and that 20 vitality is going to make it get to high health much faster as it levels up. So this fighter, fighters already have the best HP scaling, and this one has even better HP scaling.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Got A spells autocast and plus 25 agility on the white mage. That's pretty good. Got legendary swords on the black mage and resist poisoned and I forgot what. Oh, and lightning. No, it's not lightning. It's something else. I forgot. And red mage, doom magic, which is insta-death magic, and plus 15 luck, which will help it run a little bit better. I think it makes the most sense to go with Fighter Rainbow for instructional purposes, unless we want to go with a 3-man.
I think we have a slight delay because of the Twitch stream. So if it's easy to share it over in Discord, I can just take a second and get that clear.
All right, I'll go ahead and cut stream and share it in Discord.
Cool. We will get this resolved shortly. We want to make sure that it's easy to understand what's going on. Small delay when you know what's happening, not a huge deal, but for learning, we want to make sure, and delay turned out to be bigger than we expected, so we're going to get that worked out for you now.
Virtual camera setup, and that's good.
It'll just take me a second to get it resized. Okay, how about that? That's about right. Tweak it just a tiny bit. That should do it. And so that will change the game audio. But the game audio is not the most important part. I think having things lined up in sequences. So thank you for bearing with us while we got that sorted. Any questions about the party before we kick it off?
Yeah, and one thing that's going to be a little bit different... Oh, okay, we can do that. And renamed.
Delay is instant. That's great. I am going to...
Doubling on voice. That shouldn't be happening.
I think your
My
voice is
microphone's
coming
muted.
through... Your voice is coming through the Discord stream as well, because I think you're using like the virtual camera. I've turned that off. It should be good now. All right, with that sorted.
All right. Yeah, so the strategy is going to be a little bit different from the black belts. Instead of skipping every chest possible, we're going to be opening up a few chests. We'll be showing you the best agreed locations because the fighter needs a lot of gear to work well. It's the opposite of the black belt, in essence. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I hadn't seen that dialogue when you talked to the fountain. That's cute. Ooh.
Got some good white magic right away. We'll see black magic before we decide what the red mage gets. Beans, that's our ruby, is at Earth, which is actually very convenient. That's close to where we turn in the ruby. Fire 2 and fast, very helpful. We'll be putting both of those on the red mage.
Yeah, you love to see a sweeper even stronger than that, but Fire 2 is more than fine.
Yeah, and it's good to have a backup fast caster if one of them gets knocked out. None of that armor is good or affordable right now. And the only good weapon there is the chucks, which we are not going to use.
All right, that's a very early first
right
encounter.
Off the hard reset.
Yeah.
I really like it when that happens because that's an easy encounter to reset out of. And it's good for grinds. And it means that encounter isn't somewhere else in the table. Now, instead of going straight for Garland, we're going to go and grab some items. There's 3 boxes, and that money is very helpful this early on. We're going to take one encounter to get our party to level up a little bit more and be a little bit safer.
No, that makes sense.
And also because running is going to be a little bit difficult.
Definitely.
Now here, our best runners are going to be the red mage because it got bonus luck to start with. And then the second best runner, or maybe about equally, is going to be the black mage because it just starts with extra luck. It's nowhere near to a thief, but it's better running than other characters. We got a first armor we can put on. Oh.
That is important to know about.
That is.
Although...
So I'm going to go ahead. Save and revive my characters before taking on Garland because I did need to use the Fire 2 to get out of there, and I don't have any more offense.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that you didn't just...
we can check the...
Oh, we can check the item store. That's true. But I am a little surprised you didn't just take the hard reset there. The money that you found was fine, but it's probably not worth all the time. Well...
We got a good piece of starting armor as well. Yeah, there are options. If you're going full race, boom, it's probably slightly faster to go with the not safe strategy of just resetting out and trying again, skipping the boxes this time. But if you want to play a little bit more safe, keep the stuff you already have, reset out. You'll have all of your levels going into Garland and nothing to worry about.
The levels are nice. And we did get the information either way about the spiders having Bane. That's important. That was a really early encounter. Did you hard reset on the way in? Or is that just where the encounter is?
I might have on accident.
Level 4, though.
Yeah, and Black Mage to level 5 because I got that one encounter to itself. Rod and ship. So we're going to not walk to Provoca. We're going to take the boat to Provoca because that's a lot faster. I'm going to see whether that first encounter off the hard reset, it's on the boat too. Okay, good to know.
And when that encounter is that early, being able to reset out of it is super helpful. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. You're presumably going to buy some extra tents if you can.
Yeah. We always like buying tents. It's kind of funny. There's more cabins than tents in the pool, I think. And cabins are more expensive with offering little extra utility. So you usually want to buy tents if you can. But sometimes you have to settle for cabins. Canal. So we are going to be leaving the inner sea very quickly in the seed. Okay, we're going to have to settle for cabins. It's a lot of money. And we don't have anything to sell yet. Hint giver comes after the pirate. That's a very helpful hint. Thank you for telling me that Bicky has the canal. And yes, as a reminder, that hint giver does not show up until after you defeat Bicky.
So no way to get that information in a useful way, but you do get nuke. That's great.
L2 nuke, just enough money. I will check the weapons store because the last one in Canaria sucked. And it would be nice to get a cheap weapon. No, there's nothing here we can afford, and none of it's very good anyways. The best thing there is probably the hand axe +5, but axes generally aren't great.
Oh, you can just barely afford the inn. Wow. All right, you got a lot of places you can go. Where are you heading next?
We need to take on more enemies, so we are going to go to Marsh Cave. And we are going to take on these ogres because we need at least a little bit of money.
Yeah, you can throw one of those nukes and then afford the inn.
Yeah, we want to buy that inn.
You don't necessarily need the level 3 and 4 spells in Elfland right away, just because you can't cast them or most of them anyway. But you'll want them on the way back from Marsh, probably.
So now that we're walking on land, I'm paying attention to how long the music goes before we get an encounter after we burn off that first one. And it's a good while. We get to the second phrase of the music. Now, something to think about in encounter manipulation is that there won't always be the same number of encounters in land and dungeon. In this case, it is, which means that each one will line up, but sometimes there'll be extra in one that aren't in the other, and you can use that information to your advantage. Yeah, first encounter, not helpful. So we're going to go ahead and skip it and use our hero run. And hero run refers to a long distance that you can go without encounters. That's some FFR slang for you.
Oh, we see some of the modified sprites. We already saw the modified player sprites here with the duckling ones, but that is usually not a cruller. It's a creep,
yeah, this
normally,
is our
right?
ruler. So there's the creep, which are the pink ones that accompany ogres. And those ones are usually called crawls.
Ah, right.
Okay. Here we're going to take a little bit of different routing. I believe that this was showed off by Luffy in the ninja class. But we're going to grab some easy chests on our way to the incentive box.
I like
so
that.
First there's this one. And that's our first weapon. We're going to equip it right away. We come over here. And you want to do this little loop pattern. This is the most optimal way. Flame plus 3 is excellent armor. We will likely not replace that.
Yeah, that's great.
Then you come down here and take on the incentive chest.
That's not a
Now we'll
great
take it on
tile.
because these guys give experience. Yeah, nuke. Oh, not as much as I thought. Okay, we can turn in the herb right away. But because we have exit, we're going to get one more greed box, and it's right here.
Yeah, it didn't even cost another encounter. That's great.
Yeah, so the reason why having exit to get out quickly mattered there is because it might not be worth it to go for if you have to double back for that extra distance. But because we have exit, we don't have to do that, and it's just the distance to get there. Okay, yeah, there's a whole ton of encounters all in a group after that first hero run. Oh, first we're going to turn in the herb.
Yeah, we'll see what that is.
And then we'll use our money to buy some stuff.
Oh, the money's another reason to take a couple of those encounters too. Oh wow, you can go a lot of places now.
Yeah, full Intercy and ordeals. And we got warp and cake.
Warp and exit early is really nice.
Yeah, and I'm actually really glad that we have warp before going to Earth Cave because there's some cool things that I'd like to show you guys for greed checks you can get that are faster if you have warp.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, Heal 2 is the only really good one there for the White Mage. The other ones are useful, but not in the scaling. And the Red Mage can go ahead and grab Quake as well. Quake is instant death magic. The idea is that it's an earthquake that opens up crack in the ground and swallows up enemies. Life 2, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on both of our mages that can learn it because Life 2 is amazing.
And you can use it in battle in this flag set.
Talos and Volcanoes, so we will want to pick that up.
Yeah, I think fighter
and
carry.
it can be helpful to write down your notes.
Yes.
Oh, wrong button. Fire 3, Lit 3, Quad X. All great offense options. Oh, we can't afford any of them, though.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to grab those later. Maybe we'll get it from the Superstore at Lefane. And we got houses here if we want to buy them in the future. But no key item yet.
That was actually a place that if you had the spell slot, you could have exited out of the town to save time. Not a lot of time, obviously, but that's one that I try to keep an eye out for lately, because it's easy to miss.
Okay, we are going to go... oh, boy.
Oh, goodness.
Good to know. Heavily avoid the ambushing sharks with nuke. Welcome, Sweetie Bit Racing, otherwise known as Vaughn with the raid.
Yeah, welcome.
We are running Fighter.
We are in... I think they're mostly gone well so far, I would say, although we do have both nuke sharks and bane spiders.
And so here, if you go to the end and save, and then talk here, is that, I'm assuming that's a musical instrument.
Yeah, that's going to be the lute.
Ditty. So that's our lute. I did not know that was a musical instrument. We need to get that from a fairy. And now we can go ahead and just exit on out. And we don't have to walk out of the town. We're going to go to Earth next because we already have the rod, so we can do it all in one trip.
Now, I'm
Now, none of the
curious.
boxes in this first room are worth going for.
Yeah, I was just going to
Oh,
ask,
sorry.
which do you think are the boxes that are worth going for when you don't have any incentive items, but you want to try to pick up some gear?
Yeah, so first one here, instead of going straight down, you can go off to the right and grab a few boxes in this room that aren't very out of the way. We're gonna. Oh, we don't have any life 2 yet. Maybe we should have grinded for a level first. I'm just gonna go ahead and reset out. That was a very bad ambushing pack of gargoyles.
They dealt a lot of damage.
Yeah, it took out our red mage. Which is sad because our red mage has lots of useful magic.
No, the enemies
Yeah,
have
so right
rolled.
here there's crossroads. Going down's faster, but if you want boxes, you come this way around. If you want all the boxes, then you go down and come back up because there's a couple other in another room, but that room's a bit more out of the way, and there's a spike tile guarding it. Okay, we're gonna nuke them. Cure to self run. So smaller parties, so we didn't get completely wiped. If that happens, then you want those that can kill them instantly with sweepers to send out their sweepers. Everyone else runs. And here's your boxes.
And not really much to speak of. But that does give you something you can equip at least.
Although the red mage is probably going to stick to fire 3 or fire 2 and nuke.
Folks in chat talking about where to put the mages. Slots 3 and 4, I believe, actually are equally likely to get hit if you have a 4-person party.
It's like 1 RNG number difference, so it's not enough to care about. So first box that we're going to grab in floor 3 is right here, just a little bit off from the main path. Second one's right here, even less time. Ice plus 3, I think that's even better than our flame plus 3, yep. Oh, never mind, they're identical. It's this weapon that's different. So one of them protects against ice, one of them protects against fire. I think down here, ice protection is slightly better. And then we switch to fire protection later if we need to, but usually that isn't worth worrying about unless you're getting pelted with spells.
Now, do you like to take this next one coming up to check the trap tile?
Yeah, so if you are willing to check what the spike tile is, then I really like this box. It's the best spot to check it. But if you've already seen it, maybe you checked it. Oh, okay. This is the worst spike tile. This is our Phantom, and its fun enemy name is Wrong Eye because the regular eye gives tons of experience. This one gives like 1 EXP. And it's not squishy like the regular eye.
Here is what passes for a boss, I guess.
Yeah, first mini boss other than Astos in a vanilla playthrough. I guess Garland also counts as a mini boss. I don't remember if vampire counts for boss scaling because you can also find vampires as encounters in groups elsewhere in the game, like Mirage Tower.
Yeah, it does not get boss scaling.
And so you'll notice we're getting ambushed a lot more than we did when we played with the thief/ninja because the first person in the slot, it's their luck plus their agility that determines the likelihood of ambush. And our fighter doesn't have a lot of either. Okay, so up here we've got an alternate path to a few more boxes that are just a little bit out of the way, especially if you have to walk all the way back. But we picked up warp earlier.
It's also worth noting the step routing is important.
Yeah, so that routing that I just did will help you avoid all of the spike tiles. Okay, we can warp. We come back here, go back in. And now we don't have to walk nearly as far to recover.
It's a nice little time save.
And so we're going to mostly run from this. We got to run. We didn't have to use our nuke charge. And that room down there has 3 more boxes and more spike tiles, but it's too out of the way to be worth getting, especially since it's so much further down the path. Warping doesn't save you time. We go ahead and heal. We don't want to lose one of our members right before the Lich fight.
Now, at level 7, are you worried about the Lich fight at all?
Lich is usually a pushover, but it is very possible that it's going to do something. So I'm going to go ahead and fire 2 of these guys. Maybe we'll get 1 more level.
I think that makes sense. If they were spiders, I would nuke just to be safe. But these have not shown anything scary, and you do get the level.
Yeah, now they all have a little bit more EXP. They can withstand more sweeper. And we have 2 options for taking out this Lich. We can use the fasting on the fighter, or we can use magic. I'm going to go ahead and use Invis 2 to protect our party members from physical attacks. And we're also going to cast Quake, because Lich is weak to Earth. If we get lucky, it will insta-kill it. Otherwise, we'll take it down with physical attacks and fire tubes. Hey! So we like to call Quake cake because it's only 4 letters. And we say we're feeding Lich his cake. Maybe his birthday cake.
And once you've had enough cake, you just kind of want to lay down, and if someone wants to do something with your orb, that's fine.
Hey, we're going to come over here. We're going to use warp again in this room, because we are going to grab some of the greed checks here. It's not incentivized this time, but we're a fighter. We want all those boxes. But if you have warp, it's usually faster to come over here. I'm going to go ahead and burn the encounter. And then come down to grab the checks. So then you can warp out. Sun +4, that's in-game weapon. Now we will be picking up the X-Cal most likely. And we got 1 more warp. Nice.
But that is an endgame weapon that doesn't require promotion. We happen to know that the tail is in Volcano, but you could potentially skip the tail with that sword.
Yeah, for instructional purposes, we will promote and use the X-Cal, but you could skip the X-Cal and the tail if you wanted to.
Getting the slab here is nice,
remember
too.
Remember to use my exit when I'm out of warp.
Oh, yes. But you kind of have one-stop shopping on the Melmond continent. You bring your rod, you get the ruby, you get the slab, you can get the slab translated, and then you never have to come back here.
Yeah, this is pretty excellent.
So even though you could have gone a lot of places, following where the seed sort of suggested with the rod worked out well. Always nice.
Yeah, and we knew from the hint that the beans were in Earth, so I was already thinking we'd come over here and that routing would work out well. It worked out better than we even thought it would. Do we have money to grab spells here? Cure 3 is good. I'll go ahead and grab that.
Fiera Star in chat asks about the Giant's Tunnel spikes. For folks who don't know, on Earth 1, if you go to the left, there's the Giant's Tunnel or Hall of Giants that has like 20 spike tiles in a row of 2 different types. You could go and check them, and it's not an unreasonable thing to do, but I don't think you have to. You'll probably run into something, and with the early encounter here, you have the option of doing a desert grind as well.
Now, I ran into the nuking shark. This time he didn't ambush us, but I did forget to encounter and manipulate around him using resets.
Yeah, when you know there's something like a nuke shark, uh, it's a good idea to do when you can.
Okay, we already. Oh wait, that's
That's
the other
Astos.
king. We need the
Yeah.
crown. So crown turns into cube. That's good. And we get our bottle right here.
And we got a hint earlier about the bottle. I forget what it was. Was it the loot?
Yeah, I was thinking, trying to remember the same thing.
Oh, yeah, because it was the Diddy.
Oh right, loose. So it is necessary. We'll pick that up quickly. Okay, we're gonna dive volcano and ice. Now we already know it's in volcano, so we're gonna go to ice. That's I should have saved before going further.
I think you're down.
Or maybe
The boat is down.
right. We got canoe. It's faster that way.
Would it have been faster to canoe from Crescent? Actually, no. It is faster than you think to take this routing, at least to ice. It might be faster to canoe to volcano here, but since we want to do ice also, I think this is the way to go. And yes, this
Okay,
is
so I made a
not
mistake there.
floaterless.
I used my tent to save or my cabin to save, but then I reset before I hit the save button and I went backwards. Do not start going so quickly that you end up doing that. Sometimes it'll cause you to lose the progress of an entire dungeon when you're saving after a dungeon. I mean, it will happen inevitably. Your input won't go in or something. But do the best you can to avoid it, because it can be a lot worse than just losing a little bit of ocean ground.
You certainly don't want it to happen, but I think if it has never happened to you ever, you probably aren't resetting fast enough. And that's a thing that you can calibrate. It's not a lot of time, but if your goal is to get really fast, that half second every time you reset, if there's like 30 resets over the course of the game, that's like 15 seconds. And admittedly, on a scale of an hour run, not a ton of time, but 15 seconds can be the difference. But don't do it
I
too
think I
early.
disagree with your initial claim. If you've never done that before and you've played this game for a while, then that means you aren't resetting out of that menu and you're just B pressing it, which is very slow.
Oh, I was assuming that you were resetting, but you were always waiting like too long in the audio queue or something. Uh, I agree. You don't want to hit B.
Yeah, you don't learn to wait until the audio queue until after you've been burned. Okay, getting lots of annoying undead encounters here. We're going to be making lots of use of our fire too to get through.
Oh,
Was that? I think that was death magic. I didn't see a damage.
I think it might just be Death Touch.
Yeah, death touch. Thankfully, we have 2 life casters, which now have enough levels to cast it. And they're already keeping everyone up and each other up.
2 life casters is so much better than 1 life caster.
Yeah, 1 life caster is good because then they can res the rest of your party members, but as soon as they're gone, you got no more life. But if you got 2, they can keep each other up indefinitely. Unless the enemies get both at the same time, or they run out of charges. We're going to come all the way around, drop down here, warp. And I guess that's our incentive box without doing the spike tile, but we also get to grab both of these without going around. Then we're going to exit.
There's a lot of boxes that you can get in there, but with the death touching wraiths and the other things, it's not worth going for more.
Yeah, if we didn't have tele magic, then we might have shown that off, but it's so much faster to just get out. And we're going to go ahead to Volcano.
Do we have a house to use before Volcano?
I don't know. We've opened lots of chests. We don't. So I still need to be conservative with my nukes.
Yeah, I think it's fine and you can still do
But we
it.
have
Just
enough
something to keep in mind.
resources.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you
I
find a
almost did it
house in
again.
armory and you can just use that.
I almost reset before the input went through again. I'm using a different keyboard than the one I'm most used to, and the inputs aren't coming through as often. So I'm going to be very on top of that this run.
I noticed you skipped the
That's
armory there. Just didn't want to go for it?
And the ninja flag set was that incentive set to random shallow.
I forget. Yeah, I think, well, I'm not sure that you actually needed to go for those boxes. You have a reasonable weapon, you have reasonable armor. Uh, like, you can definitely slow down on the boxes, but if you're thinking about boxes to go for, I would probably go for the armory over
I would have shown
much
that
in
off,
this room.
but we don't have a house for extra resources, unfortunately. So I'm a little bit more in survival mode than teaching mode, at least for Volcano.
That's fair.
That armory has a huge amount of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of boxes on that floor, and many of them you can get to without too much difficulty. We know that this one's the tail.
And there's 2 spike tiles protecting it, so we're going to heal up with potions.
That one, not too scary.
If you watch our... Okay. We'll go ahead and whack this one with our sun sword. Or maybe not, it's got trance.
Ooh, that is not safe.
Okay, we got it. A decent amount of EXP. And it's safer than running to have at least a little bit of damage dealt. And we'll do the same thing here. All the mages run while the fighter swings.
And the fighter swing does it. I like that when you're not sure if you're going to be able to run. I think that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, usually if you don't have you can't rely on running.
Yeah, sometimes there's a tension where your best runners are also the ones who have the sweeper spell. That'll happen with black mages especially, but when your solution is just to hit it with a sword, fight, run, run, run is great. Sorry, that's a good point. You can warp out of that incentive. I'm not actually sure if it saves you
that.
time.
It does. It saves you going through the spike tile. It's worth it.
Oh, the spike tile, yeah. Yeah, it definitely saves you steps.
So we're going to be sending out nukes, but we're fasting our fighter with our red mage to do twice as many hits. And I've put my white mage at the top to absorb hits and also to cast invisibility too. But it looks like it's also going to be... Oh, it's out of life. Never mind. We'll do more invis too, I guess.
That was... Blaze is on theme, I suppose.
Okay, we got out. We're good.
All right, so that actually wraps up most of the inner C, right? You've got adamant to turn in. And then there's ordeals.
Yes, so I'm going to head to Crescent Lake because it's the closest town. It's got a good inn and a good... I almost call it a tavern. It's not a tavern yet. You'll get to learn about that in a future week. The clinic. To res our character, we got to use the inn. Our only map edit is early open progression. Oh,
Yep.
we got nuked by the...
Nuke Shark's not messing around.
I'm gonna say once we're on the boat this time. And we got two options we can go to. We can go and do ordeals, or we can do TNT turn in. And I'm gonna go to ordeals because or not TNT, adamant turn in. Because we might get a really nice proximity floater that we can then use. And the other possibility is we get a really, really nice TNT so we can get both of those at the same time. Oh, when did we lose our fighter?
A death touch or
I was not
something
paying
from a
attention.
Sahag? Yeah. With life 2, it's...
Oh, we got life.
Yeah, not a huge problem.
It's not a problem. This is why life is nice. Okay, it's branching off quite quickly.
That was a gentle incorrect there.
Yeah, so to answer Vaughn's question, I did consider waiting on Volcano, but because we were near Crescent anyway, and both of those incentive locations we knew that we were going to grab were both in proximity, I decided it was worth going for it. Okay, spike tile.
That's a really nice pickup.
Yep, we're gonna put that right in the first slot where it belongs for easy access. And then we can swing that once we promote if we don't have the X Cal, but the Sun Sword is probably still better.
Yeah, the Bane Sword could also be used against Kraken or Tia.
Right, we can have our Red Mage hold that up if it's not doing anything else. Which this time, yeah, the Red Mage just hasn't gotten anything good to Sweeper. We'll go ahead and put that on right away for safety. And our incentive. So that's a crystal which we can turn in pretty quickly. Now here, Rex, do you go for the tile or do you just exit out?
So I would just exit out unless I were actively looking for a grind tile, which I don't think you are.
Yeah, because we don't have a thief in the party for easy running, we're taking lots of encounters along the way. We're getting fine EXP scaling.
Oh, we're getting the external Matoya dock.
Indeed we are. Go just around this way.
Let's see what we get. It's the chime. That was necessary.
Yep, and these are some easy rechecks. Sometimes you'll want to get them earlier in the game. And now the only check left is the adamant.
And the unfortunate thing about
save it.
the map here is that it's going to take some time to get around to the adamant.
Yeah, so here we can decide to go around or go up to wrap around. I think that's faster.
Yeah, I also prefer going up like this. I'm not 100% sure what's faster. I do think... I think there are maps on the wiki that will tell you, but I don't remember what it is. Got away from
We want to get
those.
this river block right there.
Yeah, you don't want to have to go back into the sea if you can avoid it.
Oh, bridge boss. Because we skipped the regular bridge at the beginning by using the ship, we get to look at it now. Got adamant right here.
And there you go.
And we're gonna get some greed checks because we have the key. No, we don't have the key. Never mind.
I don't think we have the key.
We got the floater though.
Yes.
So we're gonna go straight to floater turn-in.
No, I think that had to either be the floater or be something that led to the floater.
Yeah, we had cleared out the NRC ambush nukes, but that's how I saved ahead of time, so we're good. I guess I did just kill Hooray Dwarf. He got in my way. That's basically what we're doing with the fighter seed here. The fighter swings that stuff instead of running. You aren't avoiding conflicts. But put the bottle out at the same time as the floater. Nice little optimization. Thing got bottle turn-in.
Oh, we did have the bottle. I didn't mark that. Whoops. We still haven't seen the shop item.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a couple of houses. Restock on cabins as soon as we can. Unhelpful hint.
Is that a Castlevania 2 reference?
There's our loot. And this I'm not going to make the mistake I did last time I was practicing this seed. We are going to promote at Bahamut before going to turn in the slab so that we can use the superstore on our promoted characters.
Ah, I was just about to ask why you didn't hit LaFan while you were right there, and that's a great answer.
And last time I was thinking all about proximity, but you absolutely do not want to double dip the theme.
Yeah, the Gaia hint was a dud. It said something about a silk bag in the graveyard, which I think is a Castlevania 2 reference, but I'm not 100% sure. I've not played that game in a hot minute.
We're going to see if there's any blue stake here. Nope, we got Fun Police.
Yeah.
You do not want to fight those if you don't have to.
They don't give good money or experience, and they're awful.
And they are removed if you try to fight Bahamut. There's our key. And Princess, unhelpful. Got sparkling soda here. Now the knight can buy night magic or white magic. Ruse is not okay. It gets exit.
Yeah, Ruse would be nice, except you have the Ruse stick, so it's pretty.
Yeah, we'll give it Invis 2. But the red mage can also get Invis 2. We were short on money before.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and grab Lamp just in case we need to unstun the fighter during the final boss fight or something like that.
Oh, that's cute tech.
And there's our sweeper for the white mage. And we got Fave right here. It's actually pretty cheap. I don't know if we'll have enough charges for it, but it's there. All right, we got to come back and buy our level 3 fire and lightning.
Do you need both?
Nah, we already have fire too, but it's here, so we'll go ahead and grab it. And then I don't think there's anything useful in these. I will grab lock.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking the same thing, where with Nuke, you probably don't need the level 3 spells. I guess Ice 3 in very specific circumstances can occasionally do more damage, but it doesn't really matter. But realistically, it's fine. Do we have temper?
I don't think so. We got fast and luck. That's more important.
Yeah, and temper has to be level 7 or 8, so you're not going to have many casts either. It probably is in Gaia.
And normally, Lock is hardly worse than Lock 2, but because we have double dragons, Lock 2 is actually a lot better. Because Lock 2 is multi-target, Lock 1 is single target. We already checked Gaia. Hey, there's the dragon armor. That's the best armor in the game for the knight. Now, we have flame +3 versus dragon -2. So it's a little bit less stuff, but the dragon armor resists more things. Or less absorption and more evasion loss, but it does protect from a couple of things. Okay, Oxiale. We can go straight off to Sea Shrine and get our last incentives there. We still haven't seen whatever this shop item is going to be.
Yeah, we haven't seen shop item. We still need the cube to be able to complete the game, and that's behind the crown. I think we got a hint to that effect.
Maybe. So we're going to pick up the crown. It's going to turn into the X-Cow or the cube. And the other one's probably just going to be that. Hence. And not an item. It's a buy. Oh, we don't know what the... it's going to be.
Yeah, so we actually have 3 checks on this continent.
Ribbon. I don't know if we got that yet. Sorry, what did you say?
We do have 3 checks on this continent. There's going to be this shop item, which I guess we'll have to buy on the way out. The item in Waterfall that the robot has, and then the item in Sea. So that's actually kind of a lot.
It was only a tiny amount more, so I could have just taken that encounter to buy the crown, but instead I'm going to go over here first. Because this will give us the last little bit of money we need to buy it.
Seems very reasonable. We just want to make sure we don't forget it. Whenever you get it is fine. Because you do not want to have to come back.
We do not want to come back. We want to do full on-rack continent all at once.
And Whiz Mummies are decent XP. Not, like, amazing, but I definitely like going ahead and taking that.
As that's going to be the classic thing. You're going to do lots of... by the time you get later into the sea, and your fighter can one-shot most single enemies, you're going to be doing a lot of fighter swing, everyone else run. And then whoever gets to go first will do their thing. We are going to run from that because we got the first strike. Well, we got all the money we need. We got a good pro ring. TNT, that's very convenient. Oh, no, never mind. We already turned it in. That's our other turn-in item.
Yeah, I believe that the cube was hinted as behind the crown. It's been long enough. I didn't actually write it down. So hopefully I'm remembering correctly.
Cube behind crown sounds correct. I mean, there's not much else it could be. It's either that or X-Cow.
Yeah, it is a good reminder to write these things down. Not that I remembered this time, but I knew I would have chat to keep me honest. That's my excuse.
I wrote down Talon Volcano and nothing else.
And I looked over at something else for a bit. Did you buy the crown, or do we need to remember that on the way out?
I bought the crown.
You did. Awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and mark the shop item as collected on my tracker.
And I will mark the crown on the tracker that we can see here.
All right, mermaid greed checks are very good because you can run around without worrying about encounters. There's also like one good greed check in this room, which I will show off. And it's this one right here, or this room right here.
Yeah, that Gershark encounter, by the way, oh, that's a nice one to pick up.
It has a lot of experience.
It has a lot of experience. Gershark Big Eye is even better, but Gershark is quite good just for the experience. They did have Mute Touch, so I can see shying away from them for that reason, but certainly worth considering.
I'm only grabbing the easiest 6 boxes in here, but all of these chests are worthwhile if you need them. It's late in the seed, but they're all easy greed checks. And our red mage can swing the sun sword, so they will do that.
Yeah, and that Excal plus
And
1.
will...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying we equip the opal shield, and we're gonna warp out, not exit, because if we warp, then we'll put right next to Kraken's side. You can exit out if you want to save, but I'm reasonably confident that we're not going to wipe.
I think especially with that Excal and that armor, that fighter's going to be okay.
Double checking is equipped real quick. A few too many times I forget to equip the weapon after I get it.
It's tough because you don't want to menu too often, but you also don't want to be like, oh, I picked up a ribbon 6 chests ago and never equipped it, and now I'm dying to death magic or something.
My compromise with that usually... Oh. Okay, our red wizard can swing that as well, but it didn't roll up. So red wizards, knights, and ninjas can all swing the Vorpal. It's a high crit weapon. It's basically a katana with the same amount of crit, but a little bit less damage and swing. That multiple people can use. We probably aren't going to use it because it didn't roll up, and the Sun Sword and Excal both did.
We also aren't
and
trying
also
to...
we don't have to fight chaos.
Yeah, if you're fighting chaos and you're trying to get to like 3,000, 4,000 damage, sometimes stacking up like power bonks or tempers on someone with the Vorpal is actually the best way to do it. But in this case, Excal is just so good.
I'm actually going to go ahead and equip it to the Black Mage because they have legendary weapons. And now the Black Mage has a melee weapon that's actually pretty good for it. Even if it's still not going to do any damage because Black Mages are feeble.
Yeah, if you're trying to win with that, that's not a good sign. But it's nice to know.
In Viz 2, we are going to be giving Kraken lots of respect. In Viz 2, fight, and fast.
And yes, Double Dragons is...
Swing, very nice.
That's always what you want. It is carrying Tiamat.
Really good turn order here. Kraken has not smacked anyone yet. All 4 members got to go first.
That's great.
Yeah. Kraken 1 is weak to lightning, so Lit 3 is really useful on here. Not as good as Nuke, I think. There goes Kraken. And we're going to use the house because the inn and on rack takes a while to walk to.
Yeah, you never want to use that inn if you can avoid it.
Okay, time to go pick up our cube. Or I think it's going to be crown into cube. At dwarves.
It's cube and ribbon are what's left, and I think the crown has cube and this has ribbon by process of elimination.
Okay, we'll go ahead and give that to the red mage because he has life and lots of other good stuff. Let's see, which one do we not do? Ordeals, Ice Cave, Earth Cave, Volcano, Sea Shrine, Canaria.
It's just the crown turn in, right?
I don't have... Oh.
Oh, that's what I asked about at the story.
I did.
You
You're
did
right.
forget.
Right.
Well, back to on-rack we go.
But I guess I did not. I thought I did, even though I did not.
Luckily, with encounter manipulation and the airship, this is not actually that bad. It is the vendor boss.
I have not pickied myself before, but I've done this a few times.
I've definitely done this. I have bickied myself. I'm sure I've done a couple of the others too. You do it enough times, you'll eventually forget something.
Recently, I did the opposite of this, where I got the item right away, but then I forgot about it and kept checking boxes. I mean, items shops.
Yeah, and Astos at this point in the game is not really a problem at all. You do have the option of checking 2 tiles if you want, although I don't think you need to.
Yeah, we have plenty of levels. I was going to mention the tiles as well. Yeah, all we have is the orb. There's no incentive in Sky with these flags, so we just run straight on through. Oops. That's why you save as soon as you land. You don't want to run into the fun police, which thankfully are dying to nuke pretty easily.
That's a good question. Is there a certain level you want to hit before Topher? It does really depend, but I don't know. What do you think?
We're taking that. I think our level is already pretty good. We have a full party. If you have less party members and you want them to be higher leveled, we have really strong gear. Oh, never mind. We're only level 17. We want more. So I'm actually going to take a couple blue stakes. Than I actually was.
Yeah.
We have a purple.
I think that it is possible to go and do Topher at this level at like 18-ish, but something in the low 20s is better. To me, I really want 5 hits on the fighter if I feel like I can get it reasonably. 4 is okay, but 5 is better, and we're still at 4 here. You might get it naturally taking some encounters.
We'll get to 5 taking some encounters in Sky.
Because Sky is a very experience-rich environment. Yeah, Xcal plus 0 is 29. That sounds right. This is another thing. There's a table on the wiki. But with the plus 1, it might be 27 or 28. I forget exactly how the math works. And there are a ton of boxes that you could check here. Like if you were really like, I want more ribbons, there's greed checks you could do.
Oh, yeah. The second floor room, there's a nice little detour. Take a look at the wiki map for the treasure route, and it'll get you lots of boxes very quickly. Sky also has lots of great greed check rooms with dense checks. We're going to run past that because we have all the gear we want, but I'll point them out as we see them on screen-ish. This is a spike tile.
And I think if your levels were... Oh, go ahead and explain the checks.
Yeah, left and right of this room have lots of boxes. If you go down, it's only one box, so do not do that. Unless it's random, in which case, maybe. But still probably skip it. This room isn't really worth checking for checks unless you're hurting. These ones are close enough that I'm actually going to look at them, and it pays off.
Nice to get some extra mage armor. Oh, wow. That's a huge payoff. You can pump your damage if you need to now. I don't know that you need to, but if you run into a really high absorb, Tia 2 or something, now you have the option, which is great.
Yeah, and the other two rooms here also are good with dense boxes, and it's a good idea to warp back from them if you do go for them.
Yeah, the thing that I was going to point out on the... Sorry?
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, on the encounters that you were taking, if you were a little higher level, I might not bother with, like, the Catmen. But everything in here gives at least pretty good XP, and you don't need these nukes for Tiamat. So firing them off like this just to try to get to, like, level 20, 21 seems great. I think we were confused...
I'm firing them off in case I don't get to run.
I think we were confused about what level you were because your fighter's HP is so high.
Right, that's why. That extra vitality at the front.
Yeah, no war mech today, sadly. Probably would have been okay.
Oh yeah, we would have taken it and gotten way more levels than we needed. You know, at this point, we can just wait for the X-Cal to take care of Tiamat. We don't need to cast any spells. There we are.
Seems good.
Okay, so I'm going to go head up from here to visit the Crescent Lake Inn, which is very, very quick to get into, since all routes take about the same time to get to Topher. This one's slightly slower, but it saves time on the end since we are out of houses.
Yeah, if you have houses...
75 field potions.
75 is probably fine. If you have houses, going down is a little faster. That's actually a good question. Are bats worth reading before Topher? I'm going to be honest, I never do. Franklin, do you?
I never do. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, first difference, you go left here. Got minutes over? Here, go straight up. Then to the right, you'll step over the doors and save encounter steps, and you'd have to walk up anyways.
This shouldn't be a concern.
Yeah, Sun Sword comes out. 500 damage. The red mage takes care of it, guys.
Yeah.
That's why I told the red mage to swing.
Yeah, you say understood about that. I'm going to be honest. It's possible that it's worth doing. Reading those bats. I just never do. I'm curious if there's anyone around who does do them and thinks that those are useful. Oh, this is the slow way.
Wrong way. I'm used to Long Topher. You go this way around. The walls down here have been removed. You can just walk around. Now, if alternate fiends are on, you can read the hints, and then I think it could tell you what fiends there are.
It will also tell you sometimes if something has nuke or if it's not going to ever cast spells at all. And those are both pieces of knowledge that are useful, but I don't know if they're useful enough to be worth like trying to catch every bat.
Okay, here we go across and then around this way.
Yeah, this floor manages to still be a pain. But it is less bad.
Yeah, it's only a little bit faster at Medtofer. But it's fine because it's a fun route to walk around to.
White Mage in the front against Kraken. Bold. I like it.
Yeah, this is what we do to protect the fighter. And make this as quick as possible. Oh, he's not even going to smack the white mage. Yeah, in this case, we wanted Kraken to hit the white mage so it wasn't hitting something more important.
Yeah, with two
but
life
he didn't choose to hit
casters.
anything at all.
Yeah. I think there's a couple different ways that you could have played that, but I actually don't mind that one at all.
More AoE damage from the Fiend. It only does a significant amount to the Black Mage because it has so low HP.
And doesn't have fire resistance.
Yeah, do we have a Cure 4? We have Cure 3. We'll go ahead and use that and more nukes. Oh. Okay, time to use Life 2 on on our fighter to take on Tiamat. And the mages can keep damage going.
That's a really useful piece of information in Double Dragons, though.
Oh, right. It might be worth moving the ribbon onto the fighter for that.
Yeah. I guess that's another reason that you don't necessarily need to go and talk to the bats in this specific seed.
Right, you don't need to worry about what chaos it has.
Pro Ring might get crack, but I believe Ribbon definitely will.
Black Mage just held on there with 3 HP waiting for the heal. It's going to get taken out now, though. Ribbon doesn't protect against Death Touch in vanilla.
I think it might still not protect against Death Touch, but I think Crack should be... that is something...
Crack is Earth Elemental.
Oh, if it's Earth Elemental, then Ribbon definitely does it. There's also something that we could check on the wiki, and I might do so after we're done. Because I don't know for sure.
Time is also protected by the ribbon. It's only things that aren't typed that the ribbon doesn't protect. We're going to grab our ribbon.
Yeah, Black Shirt does protect against time.
Are you guys ready to fight Chaos?
What a weird chaos. This is actually a good opportunity to point out these are the same sprite and not the Carry 2 and Tia 2 sprites, just because it can't be the way that the game is coded. It has to be something that fits here. I don't know every detail, and wow, that was a lot of damage.
Yep. But that's what the White Mage is there to do. It's the least helpful, so it's pulling its weight by being a target. And nukes here are good. It hits both of them.
Oof.
Kelly sends out a nuclear. Life
Yeah.
2. And more swings. Fast on self. Life 2. And Viz 2. And more Excal swings. And that's time.
GG's. 109.49. So a little slower than the black belt seeds. And maybe a little slower than the ninja too. You just can't run as effectively and as often, and that really adds up.
And there's a few things like I reset before saving, that set back a little bit. There's the crown, not actually buying it from the store. And there's a few times we stopped to talk about the places you could go, but we didn't actually go to. But yeah, it's going to be slower than a more direct seed with like the black belt where you don't have to open boxes, or the thief where you can just run from everything. But man, that party was ready to deal with any encounter that came for it.
71 chests open. You're still not opening everything in the game, certainly, but that was plenty to get most of the stuff that you needed.
Yeah, and moral of the story here is if the red mage has increased hit percent and they're swinging a sun sword +4, Lich is not long for this world.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time to join us, run this seed, and talk through some of this stuff for our ducklings. Are there any extra takeaways you want to give here? Maybe I'm actually curious if you had anything else to say about the encounter manipulation, because I know that was something that was really important.
Oh, right. So I was going to explain some of that earlier on, but then we got carried away and we got a boat right away. But usually the first time you have a long stretch of land, you want a hard reset, listen to the music, and reset every time you hit an encounter unless it's a really long run. By listening to the music, you'll know approximately when that encounter is going to come again, assuming you walk at a constant speed and don't get any free tiles. Adjusting for free tiles that you walk over is one of the higher skill level things that takes a lot of time to get good at, but can pay off. And as you go through on that long run and paying attention to the time, you want to look for a hero run, but you could also just note when, about how long each encounter, or how much time there is in between encounters by how long the music takes. Whenever the music's about to get there in the song in the future, you plop down a tent, soft reset. There'll be an encounter in a couple steps, hopefully, and you can reset out of it and keep walking. Or if there's a hero run right at the beginning, like this time there was right after the first encounter, you just hard reset, and then you do a soft reset to get past the first encounter and go through the hero run. Have we talked about the deck of cards analogy?
I don't think we have, actually. Unless it happened, there was a bit of Wednesdays that I missed, but we didn't talk about it last Sunday, and I don't think we talked about it on Wednesday.
All right, so most of the community members like to explain encounter or the encounter table like a deck of cards. I'm going to explain it like an array because that's what makes sense to me, and because you'll probably hear the deck of cards explanation very soon anyways. But in the game, there is an array of numbers from 0 to 255, one for each of them in a random order. It gets shuffled by the randomizer in most seeds. And numbers that are low enough get to count as an encounter spot, and all the other ones you can just walk free. And the slider that you make on the randomizer chooses how high that's going to be. When you're doing encounter manipulation, you want to look at what that it's in the scale tab. It tells you how many encounters there are per 256 steps, which you don't need to remember that number, but just remember that's a significant number of steps, but it's not enough to get through most dungeons. And you can just remember them as little pips on the array. Every time you take a step, you move one further on the array, and if you get to one of those pips or numbers that are low enough, you get the encounter. If you hard reset, you get brought to the beginning of the array. If you soft reset, you stay right there, and you can keep walking and go past that encounter. And eventually, if you keep walking a long, long time without hard resetting, then it will do some weird stuff where it goes through the array backwards a couple times and then forwards again. If you care about that, it's on the wiki. You can look that up. But it's not something that I've cared to memorize, other than that it goes forward twice and then back once, and I don't know what happens after that.
Yeah, that usually comes up if you're doing a spoiler seed, where you get to practice the seed and try to optimize it. That is a really fun thing to do, and you may see that we have a team league where we do that. And if you really, really want to understand encounter manipulation, I think that's the best way. But for now, what Franklin said is great. Don't worry about all those things. You're going to be resetting most of the time anyway. And trap tiles don't advance the counter. Neither do doors or the bottoms of rooms or the squares right in front of doors. And so some of the routing
Whenever we talk
optimizations,
about tile,
yeah, are going to
yeah,
be based
and
on that.
if you're trying to burn off an encounter, like in this seed, we had 6 steps at the beginning before the first one, which I kept burning by soft resetting and then going to the hero run. You don't want to walk over free tiles while you are doing that, because that makes it take longer before you can get the encounter and reset out of it.
All right. Well, thank you for going into that explanation. Appreciate that a ton, and I'm sure our ducks do too. Do we have any questions in chat, things that you'd like us to cover while we're here? Looks like we might not, but if someone's typing something up, before that, Franklin, do you want to give any final thoughts, extra pieces of advice to our ducks?
Fighters are really fun. If you're worried about high scaling, you definitely want to take a fighter. If you don't like running from everything and you like taking on the encounters, take a fighter. You'll get XP as you go. They don't have the greatest run chance, but they're the best at absorbing stuff. And if you want to be able to use all the gear that you find, take a fighter. A thief can't use many things. A ninja can use a lot more things. Red mages can use a good bit of things, but the fighter can equip just about everything. If you are going to be opening a lot of chests, which in some of these flag sets you will, take a fighter, because you'll be able to make good use of that gear that you're picking up.
Awesome. Thank you. One last piece of advice from me before we go. Do keep in mind that you can combine these a lot of the time. These last 3 flag sets have been set up so you could only have a ninja, or only have a fighter, or only have a black belt. But sometimes it makes sense to have thief and black belt, because you want the black belt scaling and you have access to trap tiles, but you also want to be able to run. Thief plus fighter is a very potent combination. Fighter plus black belt doesn't come up that often, but I have seen it work. And you do have a lot of options in party composition in many seeds. We are doing it this way to make sure that you get to try everything. Past that, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Franklin, for running. Thank you to RPG Limit Break for hosting us. Thank you also to my fellows in Duckling Preparation, DM Stewart and Saracen, and everyone who helps out here. We are so excited to be able to bring this to you, to help you get better, help you learn to race and run, and just have fun with this game that we love. Really appreciate you coming out. We'll be back tomorrow with a race, and then Wednesday with our next lesson. So please check those things out, and look forward to talking to you then. For now, Have a great night.